What's happening, everybody? I'm still getting ready, but I knew you guys would be freaking out because I'm already a few minutes late. But I was going through the Woody and trying to get you guys back on a whiteboard. Okay, here we go. Hi, welcome to Morning Wood. I'm your host, Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays. Welcome to the show. It's a little online community where we help each other make money by putting picks up on my whiteboard and seeing who everyone likes today. What's up, Silky One? The Clippers on the money line. All right, you got it. So how's everyone doing today? Rocking and rolling? I believe I've got you all in. So if there's any disputes, shoot them my way, but for the most part, I think we're good here. Clippers, got you, boo. I had a really good night last night. We cashed that teaser that I gave you. I cashed 2 out of 3 of those straight. And yo, how you doing, Jules? What's up, Breaking Vegas? What else? Oh, and I made a couple in plays. Again, with that Nuggets, remember I was telling you guys yesterday about the third quarter, right? When someone's down a whole lot at halftime, I like to take them in the third quarter plus points. Nailed the Nuggets on that one. Sean Austin, you are out. You had Mississippi State, and they lost by 1 point. 1 freaking point. Hump day. I'm good. I had some adult beverages last night. I had a dinner with some people who are in town. One day up early, came by to listen. Yay. Hi, medic. I saw your text. I'm sorry I haven't got back to you. It's been hectic. It's been crazy. Today I get to drive to Utah. So just like it never stops. Tons of people in town. And then tomorrow, Pedro Mas comes in town and he's staying at my mom's house. So I'm very excited about all that. Not with my mom. She's Airbnb-ing it, but don't tell her HOA that. Okay, you're on the wild, Miss Craig. We've got 2 of the ladies still in it, baby. Baby. Yes, I want to say hi too. I totally want to catch up. Chanel also. I've got like a call in with Chanel. It's just hectic right now, but I'm not complaining. It's fun, right? It's March. It's how we do it. Pregame. Here we go. Let's pull up some numbers. It's how we do it. Medic, you've lived with me during a March, so you understand how this works. You understand how it works. Okay, so we got the Clippers on the board from the Silky One. Warriors are at the Clippers. 84% of the money is on the Clippers. The one goes to a 2.5 for the Clippers, and that play checks out. Checks out. Let's see what the money's doing with the Wild. Miss Crystal Craig. That's actually going the wrong way. With 94% of the money on the Wild, and don't change your play because of this, Crystal. You know better than that. But Minnesota Wild started at a minus 155. 94% of the money's on them, and they went down to a minus 136. So that number's actually going the wrong way. Smash that like button, everybody. Oh, yeah, I didn't even do like my whole intro thing that I do. Check out my official sponsor, of course, Caesar Sportsbook. All new accounts up to $1,250 in a risk-free first bet. You don't have to deposit $1,250. You can deposit $10, all right? Then bet that $10. And then if you win or lose, the money's going to go back in your account. But you're going to also have 1,000 reward credits and 1,000 tier credits. All you got to do is download the Caesar Sports Betting app and use my promo code WOODFUL. Full of wood. That's what I am, full of wood. We are going to have Scott Reichel on the show today. Terry Edelman will be on tomorrow, and I believe Dre Richardson will come on Friday. I don't know why Dre wasn't here on last Friday. High Cashcade money. My pick for today is Pat Beverly over 7.5 rebounds and assists. He plays for the Bulls. All right, you got it, Cash. I forgot everything I just said. Beverly over 7.5 rebounds and assists, Bulls. Okay, let me send an invite to Mr. Reichel. That's why you're here, medic, isn't it? Because Reichel's on today. It has nothing to do with me. I get you. Copy. I joke. I keyed. Boom. Okay. All right, so Reichel will be in shortly. Eddie E., I don't have you in. Hold on, let me pull up my other thing. I don't have you in, my love. But it doesn't mean you're not. It just means I don't have you. Who did you have yesterday? Usually I remember these things. Liberty -4. You are in. Because that did cash. And that's how this contest works. Eddie E is going Cincy -5. Okay. Let's check them out. What are they doing today? Ooh, Arizona. Okay, so that's still a 2. That Arizona State Nevada game is a tough one. In my free pick video yesterday, I was like, I like Arizona State on the money line, but I like Nevada +2. You know, it's kind of a crisscross. I don't see Cincy. Oh, there they are. Okay, Cincy is staying out of 5. 73% of the money is on Virginia Tech, but that's staying out of 5. So, not sure about that one just yet. Your dad likes him, so you hope this works. I love that you beat your dad in the last Woody standing. Hi, Terry. How are you? Yes, everyone, hit that like. Should have listened to your breakdown, Nuggets, Raptors. Let my hate for the Raptors keep me on the Nuggets. Well, again, it's one of those things with 74% of the money on the Nuggets at a +1. Why wouldn't that come down to a pick 'em, right? So we're trying to learn how to, and it doesn't work every time, but little things like that you want to keep your eye on and just ask yourself the question, why? Or, if it's +1 and all the money's on them and it goes to a +2, why is it getting easier to take them, kind of a thing. But it's all right, Shane. There's always next week, man. Always next week. Texas Southern and Utah. I've loved this Utah Valley team this year. Okay, we got Utah Valley is playing New Mexico. 66% of the money's on Valley. -6 on New Mexico is down to a 5.5. So I would say Utah Valley looks like your play there. I don't hate that at all. Oh, I got Colorado last night too. That was another one I hit. And then your other one was Texas Southern. Playing Fairleigh Dickinson. 73% of the money is on Southern. The 2 goes to a 2.5. So that makes sense. Just accept that it's not as big of a line move as I would expect with 73% of the money on him. $107,000 has been bet on that game. So that's definitely the game with the most action on it as of right now. Clemson's only got $5,000 on it. Yeah, by a long shot, that has the most money. 107. Next in line is 89,000 with the Arizona State game. So a lot going on there. So I would say Utah Valley hit it. Texas Southern, I would maybe just stay off of it. Because like I said. Ooh, speaking of these Wolverines, mofo, what was I going to say? You're playing, the ladies are playing. My UNLV Lady Running Rebels are playing your whatever, I can't say that on the air, of Ann Arbor for the ladies on Friday. So we got beef, Tate. We got beef. And also, go green, go white. Heat -4 for Brian Dance. All right. Heat -4. I'm going to go see Dan Kaiser today, too. I'm going to drop my kid off in Utah, and then I get to go see Dan Kaiser. He's hot, too. Dan has been on the tops of those leaderboards. Southern. Okay, well, Scott Reichel's here. Scott Reichel's here. So we'll ask him some questions. Is it just me, or does anyone feel Colgate can beat Tejas? Let me look at that real quick before I bring you in, Scott. Hold on 1 second. Give me a minute. Don't rush me. I don't see Colgate. Clearly, they're not playing today. Here they are. I think 13.5 is a crap ton of points, but I mean, anything can happen, but no, I don't think Colgate can beat Texas. What's up, Home?
How's it going? What's up?
Do you think Colgate could beat Texas?
Beat or cover? I think
they cover.
See, it's one of those things that you got to be aware of when it comes to NCAA tournament trends, especially, and trends in general. You need some context to some stuff, because it's going to tell you Texas ATS has been horrible in the tournament for X amount of years. They also switched coaches, so I don't know if that means anything. Like, you shouldn't blindly fade a school based on the name of the school if they change the entire coaching staff. So I think that it matters. And when we're talking about fading some teams, for example, you faded Iowa in the tournament, you made a bunch of money. You faded Gonzaga late in the tournament. You faded Calipari late. The point is you're always fading the coach, because you don't trust Mark Few, you don't trust McCaffrey, Shaka Smart's been a pretty good fade recently as well. So
I hate that because I love him.
But the point is, besides the Final Four run with VCU, he really hasn't done anything in the tournament. I think he made the Sweet 16 maybe once. But when it comes to fading teams, usually you fade coaches. That's kind of my advice for you if you're betting college basketball. So I think Texas should beat Colgate pretty comfortably. We see every year Colgate shoots the lights out of the ball. They play in a really bad conference in the Patriot, and they put up a bunch of points, but they can't guard anybody. And I think that you're going to see Texas with their length, with their athleticism. It's going to be a tough matchup for Colgate. Now, if you want to take them or you think that they have a shot to win, you can still take them. Don't get me wrong. We see a shocking upset that nobody expects every year. Do I think Colgate's going to finally win one? No. We've seen it for the last couple of years. They had Wisconsin on the ropes. I actually had Colgate first half last year on the money line, and they tied. But I thought Wisconsin was a good matchup against them or for them last year, and they still lost. I just think that when you're looking at these long shot mid-major conference champions and you're going up against significantly better athletes, the only way Colgate's going to win is if they shoot like 40-something% from three. They need to absolutely shoot the lights out of the ball, which makes sense because they're the number one three-pointing shooting team in the country. But if they shoot like 15 of 30, sure, they can win the game. But the point is the probability of that happening is so slim that that's really the only way I can picture them winning, because Texas is better at basically everything else. So I'm not picking Colgate to win, but I think if they're going to keep this game close, they have to shoot extremely well from the three-point line.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, people will use a stat like best three-point shooting team in the country. But then you got to remember that, like, if you know that, Texas does too. Like Texas is going to prepare a game plan to defend those threes. And so you got to keep that in mind too, that just because you can shoot threes doesn't mean that an elite school is going to allow you to.
Well, and you mentioned that, and I'll bring up another Cinderella that a lot of people are interested in. It's not as big of a Cinderella as Colgate, but a lot of people love Charleston. And I was one of them.
I like Charleston, but I've just seen SDSU play. They're in my conference. I've seen SDSU play. I don't love SDSU. I could see Charleston making some noise. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, the point is that Charleston, like I was mentioning with Colgate, another really, really good three-point shooting team, and they showed it in the Colonial when they basically lost 3 games the entire year. However, I'm going to point out that San Diego State is one of the best three-point defensive teams in the country. Yeah. So the point is, a lot of it depends on matchup, and that's why, despite everybody loving Charleston before the bracket, money's poured in on San Diego State. I believe they're up to 5 at this point because it's a really bad matchup for Charleston. So even if you love the overall teams, you got to keep in mind the team that they're playing against. There's a couple of underdogs that I do like as a double-digit seed. I would have loved to have taken Charleston if they got virtually any other 5 seed or any other team that maybe wasn't so good at stopping the 3. But when you have some Cinderella teams that excel in one particular area and they're matching up against a team that excels at stopping that one area, I'm not sure Charleston or Colgate have a plan B. That's kind of my problem with taking those teams in those matchups.
I just have little faith in SDSU, I guess. It's not like that they...
Well, the Mountain West sucks in the tournament, so I understand where you're coming from. I faded the Mountain West every year for the last couple of years, and I think they went 0 for last year. But I think this year they have a couple of decent matchups. I think Boise has a decent matchup against Northwestern. San Diego State, I think, has a decent matchup. I don't think Nevada's going to beat Arizona State. I like Arizona State tonight against Nevada, but I think you're looking at a couple of Mountain West teams that everyone's always tempted by. The conference is good. The conference tournament's always entertaining. And they always get their asses kicked against good competition in the tournament. Happens every year. But it's not the case for San Diego State because Colorado State last year, for example, lost to Michigan. They're facing Power 5 schools. San Diego State's against a mid-major. I think it's a decent spot for San Diego State. I'm not sure they're going to cover, but Charleston really drew a bad matchup in round 1.
I like them. I'm saying it. I like them, and that's where I'm at.
I think you could agree that it's not the greatest matchup for them. You might like them anyway because of the experience, etc. But I think there's a couple of double-digit underdogs or double-digit seeds, that I like more in terms of a matchup.
All right. Well, do tell. Don't leave us all hanging.
So I don't think Drake counts anymore because Drake's roughly a pick'em against Miami, or it's roughly +1. Miami might be missing one of its best players, so that's some of it's injury-based. Drake's also older than, or their starting lineup's older than about 5 or 7 NBA teams because they've had a bunch of guys in college for like 6 or 7 years. So I like Drake. in that matchup against Miami, especially with Miami's player, according to updates, he is still not practiced. So I'm assuming, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Sorry. I'm trying to remember what his name.
Kyle, Joe.
Yeah, thank you. And his stats
Mhm.
are actually pretty good. He's a steady contributor with the team. But with him potentially not playing, I think he's not going to play. Every year we see a team that looks pretty good and they're missing a guy and they lose in the first round of the tournament because they have to change everything they do because the one guy is out. I think Drake's pretty live, and the odds makers suggest that's the case. I really like the 13 that might face off against Drake in the second round. I like Kent State against Indiana. I really, really like that Kent State team out of the MAC. I think that they have really, really solid guards. They're physical, they're versatile, and I think that Indiana mostly has two guys. And I feel like if one of them, if either Jackson Davis or their other young players played well lately struggles, I'm not sure they have the supporting cast to fully step up and overcome a bad performance by one of those two guys. And we saw it in the Big Ten tournament. They laid an egg, and Penn State beat them pretty early on. I think Indiana's kind of overrated. I'm also down in the Big Ten. I really don't think they're that good of a conference this year. And as a result, I think Kent State is pretty live. I really like that Kent State team. You look at how they did earlier in the year. They gave Houston a run for their money on the road. They gave Gonzaga a run for their money on the road. They've done very well against good competition. They challenged themselves. I like Kent State. I think they're pretty live to win that one. I actually have a ticket on them to make the Sweet 16 a plus 700.
Ooh, I like that. That's a juicy one. Where's your little name?
You can let me know in the comment section if you agree or not, but I'm not the biggest Indiana guy. I'm down in the Big Ten this year, and I think Kent State's good.
This year. Like I'm not typically a huge Indiana person, but I did kind of dig them this year. I cashed on them. You know, it's one of those, sometimes you like a team because you just happen to be on the right side of them all the time, you know, and Indiana was kind of that team for me. Sometimes you don't like a team because you're always on the wrong side of them. This is driving me insane.
Well, it's also about Indiana with the coaching, because you have Mike Woodson, who has NBA experience with the Knicks, and now he's been the head coach. But I watched them last year. They won a first 4-game in, and St. Mary's destroyed them.
Yeah.
They got buried in that game. Like, I'm not sure if Mike Woodson's a very good March Madness coach. We'll find out. But I'm just saying, if you want an underdog that I think has a good overall team, Kent State is a really good team for a 13 seed. They are really good.
Heath says that he has Kent losing to Drake.
But the point is, you have Kent State, you have Kent beating Indiana, and you have Drake beating Miami. So we still see it eye to eye. Right. The point is, you just have Drake beating him. So
right. I dig that. Breaking Vegas says actually the only thing Texas is better at than Colgate is 2 points on defense and free throw percentage. Colgate is 2 points better offensively. I see a 1-point game with Colgate taking a buzzer beater.
That's a very slippery slope that you're running into, because once again, you're comparing Patriot League stats to the best college basketball conference in the country. Like, the Big 12 was easily the best conference in college basketball. Wasn't even close. They were better than every other conference. Wasn't even really, there's nobody near them. And the Patriot League is a one-bid league every year. So, yes, I understand your points based on stats, but you got to be careful with that, because if you blindly follow those stats based on the national rankings, they're always going to cater to the elite teams in the bad conferences because they play a lot of bad teams on their schedule.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole thing of it. You run into, you know, especially at the beginning of the season, you get those really easy kind of matchups, and then for the rest of the season the team looks great because they've got a 12-3, but like 8 of those 12 games were against nobody's schools, and then they enter conference play and you think they're all great. So
it's usually the same story with most mid-major champions, and we saw it with Charleston, for example. North Carolina had a down year. They didn't make the tournament. They still beat Charleston at home. Usually you see a lot of these mid-major schools either get their asses kicked in out of conference schedule, or they just lose a bunch of games. Then they'll go 16-0 in conference play, and their stats look incredible, but you've seen them get challenged. I know they might be a different team as the year progresses, but those stats, if you just blindly back them, are very, very dangerous because they don't give you any context on how bad their conference actually was, comparatively speaking.
I still like Charleston.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, you could. I'm just saying, if you're blindly going to go by the stats, you got to keep that in mind.
You're not the boss of me. I'll do what I want. I'm not impressed with
me now. Yeah, I don't know if you were Malcolm the Middle guy, but that's a phenomenal
I love Malcolm the Middle. That is why I never wanted to watch Breaking Bad, was because I didn't want to see Hal as whatever his name, Walter White. I didn't want to see Hal that way. Scott, are you doing the WTA pod?
I actually think I will. There's an unexpected day off in tennis on the men's side for Indian Wells, which I think the schedule's stupid. But long story short, they have the women's matches on one day by themselves. So I'll probably end up doing a bonus pod. Plus, to be honest, I get paid per podcast, so why would I not do it? So yeah.
There you go. Free money, honey. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so let's look at some stuff going down today. Another one that Crystal Craig likes it, Silky Man's on it. How do you feel about the Clippers today?
The Clippers have been playing better lately. Golden State's given them problems in the past, but Golden State's on the road. And I hate Golden State on the road. They are so bad on the road.
It's disgusting. It's literally disgusting.
I think I'm going to lean Clippers, but I'll definitely regret it at some point in the third quarter. I think I'm just going to lean Clippers. The Warriors on the road have made me so much money during the course of the year. I can afford to be wrong once. Yeah. I just feel like at this point, if I'm not blindly fading Golden State on the road, there's a good chance I'm leaving money on the table. Plus, the Clippers were dominating Golden State the last meeting, and then the third quarter came around, and the Clippers completely just imploded in the second half. I'll lean Clippers at home. Do I feel great about it? No. But I'm not picking the Warriors. I don't think I can do that on the road.
Yeah, not necessary. So my biggest one that I'm torn is Arizona State at Nevada. And it's not Nevada. Don't say that. It's Nevada. That's where we live.
I always say Nevada. So
you're wrong.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. So what do you think? Last season, fading Steve Alford was our full-time job. This season, we laid off of that job. We found a new job. And for a while, it was fading Louisville. I love Bobby Hurley. You know, I'm a nutcase for him. So I have like my heart invested in this. My hate is invested in this because UNLV, Reno, we don't freaking like each other with a Steve Alford cherry on top. So take my heart and emotions out of this. Who do you like in this game?
I think I have to lean to Arizona State because I feel like Arizona State is at least worthy of being in the tournament. I would not have put Nevada in if I had a vote. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. I would not have picked Nevada. I would not have picked the Wolfpack to make the tournament, okay? I don't like backing teams that kind of fell apart down the stretch. Yeah. And I feel like Nevada really did not play well down the stretch. And yes, I know they lost to a very, very good team in the conference. Just in general, the Mountain West has been good, but we've seen this conference really struggle in March Madness in years past. I don't really trust Alford, as you said before, so the coaching edge I will give to Arizona State. They hit the full court shot to beat Arizona, but Arizona's still a good team, and they were able to win that one. Yeah. I think I'm fading Nevada. If you want to just back historical trends, fading the Mountain West is usually a good move, but you're looking at the last three games. They lost to Wyoming, they lost to UNLV, they lost to San Jose State. Losing to those three teams entering the tournament, I think, is pretty concerning. I'm going to lean to Arizona State. I think that they're the more talented team. I think they're in better form, and you get to fade the Mountain West. And last year we saw Wyoming in the first four, and Indiana was up, like 20 in that game? Like, Wyoming got absolutely buried. I just think that you'll see Arizona State in the superior conference. Pac-12 wasn't great, but I think that at the end of the day, Arizona State's the better team. I'll lay the 2.5.
I'll just take them on the money line, and I'll probably throw them into a teaser to give them some points. You went to the rodeo Sunday. Holy hell, that rodeo's still going on, Brandon. How long is the rodeo going on? I feel like this has been like all month. Is it a month-long thing? It could be. Don't get me wrong.
Do you want it to be a month-long thing?
It could be. Okay. We had some discussion about Texas Southern and Fairleigh Dickinson. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Ken Pom loves Southern in this matchup. Like, it's not even close with how far ahead Southern is. Anytime a team below 500 is favored in a March Madness game, I'm going to take the team below 500. And Texas Southern both teams are pretty experienced when it comes to the tournament. They're always in the first four. Yeah. Texas Southern and Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm going to lean Southern. If Dickinson wins, I wouldn't be shocked, but based on the Ken Pom numbers and the fact that Texas Southern is once again below 500 and they're laying points, I'm probably going to lean Texas Southern. All
right. I just don't like that 73% of the money's on them and it only goes from a 2 to a 2.5. It just doesn't seem like the proper line move for that amount of money. Like with Arizona State, 58, it just changed. 58% of the money's on them, and a pick'em went to a -2. That's 2 points of line movement with 15% less of the cash on them. So I don't know. Things like that just kind of pop out for me. Colgate money line's going on a wild parlay. I do think Texas will win. I just think this can be an interesting game, especially with the way basketball is played. I don't mind it with the points. Like Colgate with the points, 13 points, a ton of freaking points for a great 3-point shooting team. But that's not one I'm going to money line. But good luck to you, man. Don't get me wrong. I hope you're right, because I'm not money line in Texas either. So
I'll ask you this. Are there any types of double-digit seeds, we'll say 5 points or more, that you actually like the money line for the underdog? I mean, you mentioned Charleston, but anybody else?
Yeah, y'all answer that. I know everyone's really high on Oral Roberts. And the line's reflecting that as well. I know Furman was one.
Yeah, but you like
everyone
Duke,
thought
so you're going to be biased anyway.
I would take Oral Roberts over Duke.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not see that coming. Okay. What a twist. I figured you're going to tell me Duke championship, Duke baby, John, great coach. Yeah, I figured you'd just be all over him. That kind of surprises me.
Brandon's in Texas. He's in Houston, Texas, actually. My neck of the woods. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Do you like Furman against Virginia, or do you like Virginia?
I like Furman against Virginia.
Okay. I'm not a fan of Virginia this year, but
it wasn't necessarily what I like. It's more like I know a lot of people that are getting on the Furman train. Sean Higgs, I believe, is one of them. It seems like Furman and Earle are the two dogs that everyone's really into.
I think that's the concerning part, is that usually you get an underdog that wins, but it's the one that people don't exactly expect.
Yeah.
And the spread has actually gone up on Virginia, despite a lot of people liking Furman.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit concerned on that. But
half to 6. And 58% of the money's on Furman, so it shouldn't be going that way. That would definitely say it's more of a Virginia look.
I'm trying to think of any other potentially big underdogs that I like. One of my favorite underdog plays is going to be VCU. It's not 5, it's at 4.5.
Furman, Earle, and VCU. That's the one everyone loves.
I have VCU to make the Sweet 16 at plus 800. I think it's a great matchup for them against St. Mary's. They basically play the same style, but I think that VCU's got a bit more toughness. And St. Mary's, yes, I know I just said before that they killed Indiana last year. They really haven't been that good in the tournament. They'll make it, but they don't win many games. I just think that we've seen St. Mary's have some bad matchups against Villanova and teams that are kind of built similarly to them in the past. I really like this VCU team. They've been playing really well. They're on a massive winning streak. They won the conference. I like how they're playing. I think that they got a good chance to win. I'm surprised that the spread is 4.5. I think that this spread is a little bit too high. I think VCU's got a good chance. If you want a really, really long double-digit point underdog that I think has a shot to win the game, I'm really looking at Santa Barbara against Baylor. I think Santa Barbara's got a shot to win that game. I do. I really have not been a fan of how Baylor's played the last couple of weeks.
I have been saying that all season, that I think Baylor's overrated, and I'm not super into Baylor. So I'll definitely agree with you there. But to win outright, really?
Baylor's had a couple injuries to some key pieces. I think they're a bit shorthanded, and you look at how they've played to close out the year. They really haven't been good. And Santa Barbara, I watched them play in their conference tournament against UC Riverside and against Fullerton in the final. They have a really good backcourt. And I think that with Baylor, yes, they're probably going to dominate the boards, which is the problem. But Santa Barbara's been here before. And I do think that at the end of the day, you're looking at how that team finished the year. Winning the conference tournament, winning the final 7 games definitely helps. It is a weak conference, I'll admit that. But you're looking at Baylor. We've seen Baylor, besides the title run by Scott Drew, he really has lost pretty early on in tournaments. They had that upset loss to Georgia State a couple of years ago. But Baylor's lost their last 2 games. They've lost, 3 of 5? Let me just pull it up. Once again, better conference, so it's a bit tricky to pick and choose your arguments here. But I just haven't been impressed by Baylor lately with some of the injuries they've had. I think Santa Barbara makes a game out of it, in my opinion. Once again, you're going to probably see one Cinderella team or one huge upset that nobody sees coming. I really think Baylor is more vulnerable than people think. I could be dead wrong. Baylor might win by 30. But I think that Santa Barbara has the pieces and the experience to potentially make that game a bit of a dogfight. I'm going to lean to Barbara. I think they got a shot on the money line.
Barb. Oh, Barb. Everybody, don't forget about this. Over on the Picks and Parlays Facebook page, Last day to enter the free bracket challenge. First place is going to win $250. Second wins $100. Third wins $50. So some free money if you guys want to jump into this contest. The link is right here in the comments, or head over to our Facebook page, which I'll pull that up so you guys can write it down. Bam. If you guys want to enter the bracket, who's your friend? Do you fill out brackets? I don't.
So I already filled out one, which was my main one. But I usually end up filling out maybe 2 or 3, but I also wait for some of the play-in games, and I'll wait for line movement. I factor line movement into some of my picks in the first round. Why not? It's a piece of information. I think it's important. So yeah. I usually wait a little bit, and I'll try to fill it out mostly tonight for most of my brackets. But at the end of the day, I do have one filled out already.
All right, so $250 for first place, and there's only 46 people entered in this contest. So I understand you guys don't like free money. It's cool, but maybe tell your friends who do like free money. Just get them over to the Facebook page. Again, the link is in here. Chris Johnson is solid with first halves, and he's going to take Arizona State first half on the money line. I know, Chris. I take your bets every day. I do. I had Texas A&M CC yesterday, -2 at the half, cashed that puppy and cashed it full game. So not bad there. Not a bad gig there.
You have a bracket filled out already?
No, I don't fill out brackets. Not that.
The hell does that mean?
It means that if someone presented a bracket to me, I would crumble it up and throw it away.
So you're telling me that you just mentioned that Picks and Parlays has a bracket contest.
I can't win the money, Scott. I can't win the money.
Yeah, but I figured you'd want the bragging rights, Figured you'd want to, showcase your skills.
No, because I was taught by my guru that when you fill out a bracket, that your brain is you're programming your brain to think that certain things are going to happen, and it just it makes me jaded for what I think with my. Now I'm going to talk for real. It jades me into placing my straight bets and my single bets along the way if I've got a bracket that I'm thinking about or in the back of my head. So no, I just don't do brackets. It's not my thing.
I'm just saying brackets don't work out for most people, but not filling one out, kind of un-American. Just going to throw it out there. Kind of un-American.
Oh, kind of like being a grown-up. I don't need a freaking bracket. Brackets are for people around a water cooler. Okay. I don't really mean that. I used to fill out brackets, but now I don't because it.
Are you insulting water coolers?
I hate water coolers. There's nothing good about them. OK State and Youngstown. Okay, we haven't talked about this one yet, so we've got not filling out a bracket. Not my thing.
Okay. I always fill them out, but I'm also in some pools, it gives you an incentive to care about every game without actually having a lot of money on any game.
I already care about every game, and I want to have a lot of money on every game.
Are you glued to every game no matter how little or no action you have?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I've got my 4 screens going on, I'm trying to watch everything.
Are you a sportsbook watcher, or are you a personal TV watcher?
So, during the tournament, I want to go to a book. Okay. I'll be at the book for the most part. But my TV has split screen, and I've got a laptop, and I've got my phone. So I'll pretty much be on top of everything as it's happening. Okay. So Youngstown, Oklahoma State, staying at a 5.5, but 74% of $34,000 is on Youngstown. The 147.5 moved up to a 151. 76% of the money is on the under, but 51% of the tickets are on the over, and 53% of the tickets are on Oklahoma State. What are your thoughts, Scott Reichel?
For me, this feels like the exact same situation that we saw with Toledo against Michigan yesterday, where a bunch of money came in on Toledo. What was the motivation? Who on Michigan cares? They had a bad year, and Michigan won. And I feel like that a lot of people lost a lot of money backing Toledo there. That money poured in on Toledo. But Michigan won.
I cashed them in the tees, but I lost the straight bet. That was my only one I lost yesterday.
Now, the main difference with this one is that Youngstown's the home team in this game, correct?
No, State is.
State's the home team?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to lean to Oklahoma State. I think at the end of the day, you're going to see a pretty similar story where even though Youngstown had a good year, the MAC is always a circus. You never know how good any.
No, it is Youngstown. Sorry, on my thing I'm reading it, it hasn't.
I was going to say I thought Youngstown was the home team.
Yeah, no. On covers it's the other way, but on the way that I read it, where the money is. It was flipped. Okay.
So that's the main
you're right.
difference between this game and the Michigan game yesterday was the fact that the game was still in Ann Arbor, so they wanted to put on a
And
show
I
in front of the
mentioned that.
crowd.
I did say that to y'all. It was the
But
one thing I didn't like about Toledo was you're playing in Ann Arbor.
I think I'm going to lean to Oklahoma State though, just because of how much I actually like the Big 12. I'm going to stay away from it. But Youngstown, do you think that Oklahoma State's going to care? Most of this is going to come down to motivation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Rutgers lost to Hofstra, and people are going to say, well, they shouldn't have been in the tournament because they lost to Hofstra. Doesn't mean anything. Like, I think you can make an argument that Rutgers didn't care. I think Rutgers should have gotten in.
I think Rutgers didn't care. I just thought Hofstra was a stronger team.
Hofstra was good. I always wonder about motivation, and I feel like Rutgers got hosed from the tournament, and you always have to wonder or worry about teams that were one of the last teams to miss out or one of the first teams to miss out. Oklahoma State, I think, was the first team to miss out, according to the final reveal. So I think it does kind of come down to if you think Oklahoma State's going to care or not. But it being in Youngstown does help if you want to go with the dog.
Rocco likes Youngstown. It's in Youngstown. Yeah. So sorry. The way I read it was flipped on my one thing. I need the Baylor Bear to play like Cocaine Bear. Yeah, that's going to need to happen. I want Cocaine Bear to fight Cocaine Gorilla and see what
I saw
happens.
Cocaine Bear. So
did you? How was it?
I actually enjoyed it. I went in with the expectations of this is going to be like a Sharknado movie where it was made for the sake of being a bit of a parody, but I wasn't supposed to take it that seriously. If you don't go in expecting a drama-filled movie, I had a good time.
All right.
80s nostalgia. They throw in some jokes. They kind of recognize how ridiculous the whole situation is. I thought it was pretty good. I was entertained for like 2 hours. That's all I ask for, you know?
How do I get a split screen in 2023? I just push the button on my deal and it's like, do split screen. Do I want it in the corner? Do I want it half and half? How do I want it? And then I pick that. And then I've got.
Can I hear those sound effects one more time?
I forgot them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, perfect. Nailed it.
So Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet. How do you feel about that?
I feel good because I root for the Jets. But I feel like this move was kind of decided a week ago. Wingo announced on Twitter that it was happening. And everyone was roasting him, saying he's lying, misinformation. Then Wingo goes on. I forgot what YouTube streamer went on something. And he said, "Listen, it's happening. It's guaranteed to happen. They're just stalling for whatever reason." So yeah, Wingo knows his stuff. So it was a grand reveal. I'm not surprised that he did it on McAfee's show because Rodgers and McAfee are boys, and he was helping out the viewers, for the podcast. And Rodgers has seemed to be like a pretty good friend because he got Lazard paid. He's probably going to get Mercedes Lewis paid. Randall Cobb might get paid. Yeah, it's kind of just like how Adam Sandler just hands out parts to his best friends in movies. It's kind of the same idea with Rodgers, getting all of his friends paid. It's a good move. I mean, what else were the Jets supposed to do? I have not seen the actual trade package, though. Did they give up a first-round pick? Is there no first-round pick attached to it? What's the story with the trade?
I have no idea. I don't care about football. You know that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. So he said he intends to play for the Jets, but the teams are still working out compensation, which means as of right now, he's still in the Packers. So that doesn't tell me anything. He wants to play with the Jets, but they still have to figure out the trade. So nothing's happened. I feel like we knew this already. Have you learned anything?
I like that at least he doesn't have to change the color of most of the stuff that he's collected.
There's a lot of green.
Green is going to translate well. Why is everyone so ticked off about his girlfriend and what she wears? That girl is freaking hot. Her clothes are on point. And if I look like that, I would dress like that every single freaking day. Lay off of his girlfriend. Just saying.
I don't really care what people's girlfriends wear. I got better things to worry about. I would be a bit concerned, though, if I was in a relationship with somebody and the person that I'm dating decided to lock himself in a cabin in darkness for about a weekend. That would kind of scare me off, wouldn't it?
Oh, I would love to lock myself in a cabin for a freaking weekend. Are you kidding me?
But he's locking himself there without you.
I'm okay with that. I mean, no one else is going to be there.
Just goes pure darkness, just ghosts everybody for a full 3 days.
Hell yeah, man. I would love that. Are you kidding me? Jeez Louise. Yeah, see, Medic spent Final Four at my house last year. Love that split screen TV. Gave us 2 games to yell at simultaneously.
Did you already do the Google search on what channel's True TV, or you haven't done that yet?
It's 247, isn't it?
Oh, it depends on the cable provider, but that's you. I always love how the Google stats just show you a massive skyrocketing in what channel is True TV. or like True TV Google searches every March because nobody knows what the hell the channel is.
Really?
Yeah, it's a thing every year. If you're an Impractical Jokers fan, though, then you already know what the channel
Then you
is.
know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine's 247. That's why I know it. But I do love my Impractical Jokers. Okay, Joe's taking Youngstown plus the 5.5. Joe,
I think I'll lean Youngstown too. The more that I thought about it, you get a home team getting 5.5. Oklahoma State might not care. They were the first team out once again, and a lot of the Big 12 got in because the conference was so good. I think I'll lean to Youngstown too. They had a pretty disappointing loss there in the conference tournament. They almost lost twice because they really should have lost to Detroit, and they ended up coming back in the second half. I think I'll agree with you. It's a home team getting 5.5, and you're assuming Youngstown's going to care more about the game.
Yeah, I'm with it. I
mind
love a good home dog. Don't get me wrong. I'm with it. Okay, there you are. All right, so I'm going to let you go so I can pull them in and they can take a picture of the board. We're going to do a player prop drop right after this show. So you guys make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Scott's got 4 player props in the NBA tonight. We're going to drop them on the player prop drop in about 15 minutes here. Any last words, Mr. Reichel?
Not really. You can find me on Twitter. Besides that, yeah, I'm just going to hang out. Maybe I'll grab some lunch, watch some tennis matches, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Sounds exciting.
Do you have any last words for me?
See you when I see ya. Let the doorknob hit you where the dog should have bit you. I'm not sure. That's all I got.
Is that a Texas saying?
Let the doorknob hit you where the dog should have bit you.
That sounds like something you'd hear in. I'm trying to think of what type of. Was that Kenny? Like something Kenny Rogers would say, maybe?
It's actually the song that I know it from is a band called the Royal Crown Review, and they're a swing band. Have you ever seen the movie Mask with Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz? They're that swing band who's playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the Royal Crown Review. And I actually got to go on a date with their trumpet player, Scott Steen. Ironically, his name is Scott Steen, but he's their trumpet player. And I went on a
Just
date
to make sure, that is not the one that's married for Winners and Winers, correct?
It's not your Scott Steen. It's my Scott Steen. But anyway, it's a swing song.
I like how you say it's my Scott Steen when you said you dated him, so it clearly didn't work out. But you've claimed him. So I respect it. It's my Scott Steen. We dated. It went horribly wrong, but it's mine.
Well, we went on a date while he was in town. It was like a cool
date, as in it didn't work.
We didn't even make out, okay? It's not really a date.
So, you're just confirming everything I said. I said it didn't work out, and you just said, we didn't even make out. I'm like, yeah, that's what I just said. It didn't work. That's
it did
my
not.
point. Okay. I'll end it on that note. I'm out of here. I'll see you.
Okay, bye. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, no, I have not done my basketball rundown. I'll do it right now. Also, maybe I won't do it right now because you guys stink on ice. 44 people watching, 51 people watching, and only 5 likes. That's not cool at all. All right, I'll do my basketball rundown. I'll tell you guys what I think. Okay. In college hoops, we decided we like Texas Southern, we like Arizona State, and we definitely like Arizona State first half. Youngstown is the way we're going to roll. We decided that. Alcorn and North Texas. I'd take the points with Alcorn. 88% of the money is on them. The 17.5 went down to a 17. I just think it's a lot of points. So I'd probably snag those points. 57% of the money is on Sam Houston, and a +4 goes to a +4.5. That does not make sense. Just lay off of that. Looks like UC Irvine. Oregon's -10 goes to a -7. 62% of the money's on Oregon. Why wouldn't that 10 go to an 11 or 12? It didn't, so I would play Irvine +7. But I would probably throw that into a teaser because you're losing 3 points of value now. So remember, when you tease, you can grab those points back. Central Florida looks like your play. -5 to a -3 with 56% of the money on Florida. I'd probably take Central Florida. They're going to want to be there more. About the L's. Virginia Tech and Cincy. 76% of the money is on Vautech, and that 5 is just staying the same for Cincy. So I would probably take a Cincy there. Valley and New Mexico. You guys know I love Utah Valley. It's just that's my play. Clemson went the wrong way, so maybe look towards Moorhead. 17 down to a 15.5. This is the 16th. Okay, and I'll go through the NBA. I need to eat something. Okay, Grizz and the Heat. Looks like the Heat Sixers, Cavs. Looks like Sixers. Lakers, Rockets. Looks like Lakers. Celtics is scary. 5 is staying the same with 79% of the money on him. I might look at the T-Wolves there. Only 16 grand bet on that game, though. Looks like the Bulls. Looks like the Spurs. And I'll take the Clippers. And that's that. That's what I got. This is what I have for you. You like Cincinnati minus the 5? I'm with you. I don't like it. Not one dang bit. What? What don't you like? Oh, no one's hitting the like button? I know, right? Pinches. Okay, guys, that does it for me. Let me pull you in so you guys can take a picture of the whiteboard. Holy cow, I'm starving. And bam. All right, so do your thing. Do your thing in 3, 2, 1. God, I am so hungry. Okay, one more time in 3, 2, 1. Remember, if you owe me a pick, throw it up on the Morning Wood Facebook page. Also, that is where you can get involved in our free bracket competition where you can win $250. Here it is right here. You can screenshot that as well. All right. You hit it? Hit it. Beautiful. Thank you. All right, guys, y'all have a great day. Keep your little peepers open because the prop drop is on the way. I will see you guys again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'll tell Dan Kaiser that you all said hi when we see him tonight. All right, have a great day today, everyone. Good luck unless you're against Len. Bye, guys.